This is the gesture basically. So your hands on your heart, your right hand on your heart, and then you have this fist closed. The true meaning of it is I feel the heaviness in my heart. I have this heaviness in my heart where I am, but now I am prepared to heal that. Having a dream like I want to be that person, or even asking like what can I do now, um, both requires some clarity around to work on. I am doing it, it's for everyone, just like Me Too movement or Green Revolution movement. Like, it all happened for a cause and it's for mass of people. At the moment, what I see here is all these women are doing their best in their life, definitely, but everybody are isolated and scattered everywhere. And so for you to commemorate in a place, this moment will be the space where you can share your experiences, so those who are like recently going through separation, they can understand, okay, there's a better way for me to handle the situation. It's all about based on awareness, self-awareness. If the decision is already made, like I'm okay to like part from this committed relationship, then how can I handle myself going forward? So when collectively, it is like when people are sharing their experiences, it's not judged, and you can be vulnerable if you would, like, if that is something that it prone to happen, and there's no judgment and no unsolicited advice as well will be given unless it's asked. At the point where before separation or divorce, I'm always right. My viewpoint is.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Wellbeing in Me podcast. In today's episode, I'm joined by my wonderful co host, Indu Kanayan, who is the founder of Manasvi Healing and Second Bloom Movement. We are talking specifically about Second Bloom Movement today. What's the inspiration behind it? Who is it for? How can they benefit from it? And the movement itself comes with a lot of hope, resilience, and providing connection to women who are separated or divorced. And if they really want to take their healing to the next level, to release all their past emotional baggage and to rebuild their lives, there is a pathway into Manasvi healing as well. And I'm so excited to share this episode with you, especially if you are going to benefit from it, and if you are alone after a divorce or separated, this is the episode that you need to listen to. We are here back again in the Wellbeing in Me podcast today, and I have beautiful Indu here with me, and we are going to talk about a very special movement which Indu has started, which is in the emotional healing space. And I would like to know more about it. I'm sure you would also be wanting to know more. So, yeah, here we go. Indu, welcome back.
Thanks, Meena. Thanks. It's good to have this conversation all the time, like whether we are talking about flower therapy on from your perspective, or about Manasvi healing or the second bloom movement. It's nice to be back to talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. What is this second bloom movement at all? Can you explain?
Sure. So this second bloom movement, it's all about for the women who have been recently, or they have been separated or divorced in the past. Like, it doesn't matter when was it recent or was it like long before, especially in the midlife, and who have got children. This moment is for them. So they are the people who can join this movement. The reason for this second blue movement is, whenever there is a separation or a divorce that happens, it first affects on the identity of that person. Now, this is common for both male and female, but I represent female because me coming from that aspect, and I know like what's the pain and what it caused, so I represent for them. So once, so they, it's a lot of an identity issues, like who am I now, what am I doing, how am I going to live. It's all the questions pops in, but there is no defined response or an outcome how they can lead their life moving forward. And it becomes very difficult when they have this emotional, I call it as emotional bundle, where they have this grief, sadness, hurt, anger, fear of future, resentment, everything is there, and they don't know how to let go and see the future beyond that. So sometimes we get stuck in that past. And the triggers are like, one can say, like, I go to many healing modalities, like, you can do meditation and all other stuff, but those has to be deep enough where you don't see the triggers in your life anymore, like the past triggers. And if it is still in the surface level, or somewhere down the line you've got in your daily life where it's not allowing you to let go of the past and see the future and enjoy the journey of life, then second blue movement is a movement for those women where they can come in, because some of the communities, it's a taboo still, like, or you're divorced, or you're separated, and it becomes difficult for them to share what they are going through with other common friends where they are happily married, and they wouldn't be able to understand or relate. So this moment is for those women where they are holding those emotional baggages, not able to let go of that. Plus, they need to really find their own space to come and talk. Like, even if you're not talking, just felt belonged, where you're not being asked any questions like, on what situation or what was your circumstance you came to this decision, because the decision has already been made by these women. No point in go and revisiting or inquiring. There's no interrogation or no judgment here, but they just come here, and they can seek modalities, like, not modalities, sorry, the healing aspects, like, because we are going to do something in the future for them as to how we can regularly touch base. But second blue movement is for them, so it's not like the first half of our life is, oh, it's gone this way, and what am I going to do the next. This second blue movement is a space where we give them not just a false hope, but there are women who have made their life really well, so you can inspire them, or you can talk to them. And this is for those women where they feel that, what's in my future? You have your own future, because you can write your own future. That's the hope, and that's the path the second blue movement takes them to. Yeah.
Wow, amazing. I am so impressed by what you have put together and how you are bringing it all together. Because in an ideal world where nobody is judged, or when things don't work as they thought it would, there must be a system, like a community or someone to embrace them, to take them in and to say, you are not broken, you are whole as you are. Let's move forward in life. And that, if that is the hope, if we are looking at the hope that you are giving them there, I think this is going to be an amazing moment, going to go all around the world, and a lot of people are going to benefit from this. Yeah, I can already see this.
Yeah, hopefully, yes. Because it's not a movement that I'm doing it. It's for everyone, just like Me Too movement or Green Revolution movement. Like, it all happened for a cause, and it's for mass of people. At the moment, what I see here is all these women are doing their best in their life. Definitely, but everybody are isolated and
Mm,
scattered everywhere. And so, for you to commemorate in a place, this moment will be the space where you can share your experiences. So those who are like recently going through separation, they can understand, okay, there's a better way for me to handle the situation. It's all about based on awareness, self-awareness.
mhm,
Because I myself personally, I could see the change in me, like, before divorce, what was my self-awareness ratio and how is it now. Definitely I have picked up a lot after the divorce. So probably when people are going through that, when they understand, okay, this is what is happening with me and the situation, can I handle it in a different way?
Mm.
But if the decision is already made, like I'm okay to like part from this committed relationship, then how can I handle myself going forward? So when, collectively, it is like when people are sharing their experiences, it's not judged, and you can be vulnerable if you would like, if that is something that it prone to happen, and there's no judgment and no unsolicited advice as well will be given unless it's asked, like,
Mm.
someone really help me, but you can be in that space and help each other out. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. So, with your own personal journey, where you have experienced this, because you are not talking from hearing about it from outside, but you have the lived experience. So, how would someone feel when they come out of a relationship and trying to rebuild themselves and move forward in life? What are the feelings like? What kind of feelings come up? I'm just asking for understanding.
That's a good question, and it wouldn't be a straightforward answer,
Mm.
because that is how it would be. Like when someone has decided to come out of the relationship, and that decision itself is really hard to make,
Yeah.
regardless of what the situation, how brutal the situation was, or we wouldn't know. Like everyone's individual situation is different, so even if it's a conducive one, like these days they say mutual uncoupling, they've got a term like that. Even if that is the case, that there is a grief that they would go through, because this is not something anyone would expect to happen in their life.
Mm.
Especially if they have a family where they've got children involved, that is not an outcome that we would expect anytime at all.
Mm.
So definitely there is a grief, sadness, hurt, guilt, mother guilt especially. Did I make a right decision or not? You
Mm.
know.
Mm.
It is, everything is combined, and for me, Mina, it didn't come like for one event it's a guilt, and then for another event it's a sadness. It's everything combined. So it's
Mm.
such a emotional chaos, like one I was going through. And
Mm.
like, in the morning it's a different emotional setup, and as as the day goes down, you've got a different. And I remember there were many many nights, and for many many months I had to literally curl up myself and sleep.
Mm.
So, and you feel like, the moment you shut down your eyes, you feel like, okay, I'm going to forget about everything. But the moment you open up, it's all there, and you've got to combat it on a daily basis. Like whether it's,
Mm.
I'm talking about, it's not just on the financial aspects, Meena. You might have equal financial rights, and probably you had a good decent share of money in that, in the settlement, or whatsoever that legal thing is. It is just that, how am I going to face the world? Because you, as a person, feel that, what could I have done to save this? There's one part, you have already made the decision. The other part is also asking, could I have done something more to actually save this? Could I have done something more to keep this intact? And there are different questions that comes up on a daily basis, like how do I show up in my workplace? What are they going to think about? And most of the time we don't share our personal thing outside, but if it's a DV based separation, it's a legal thing that we tell the office people, like, this is what I'm going through. And I think in many companies they have got, I think, nearly about a week or 10 days where they can take time off to do whatever they have to do. It is a lot for a person to actually think through and work on themselves. So it's not a one thing or a straightforward answer. For me, that's how it was. So I
Mm.
had to literally then yeah then build cell by cell for me to understand, okay, this is how it's going to be. Because sometimes I think I was in denial as well. One day it's everything is going to be hunky dory, because we see all these movies with a magical ending and fantasies, like, somewhere down the line my childish Hindu like was like, okay, one day is everything is going to be fine. But to come to the reality, to accept the fact, okay, this is how it's going to be, how am I going to gather myself, and for you to ask that conscious question, it takes a while.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm. So you said your self awareness was very low before you had made that decision and moved on, and how it improved. What did you do to build your awareness?
Although I have gone through all these things, I'm one of the blessed soul as well. The reason I'm saying that is because when I was going through this separation, the opportunity of me understanding about or learning about NLP, or life coaching and all these things, like it just happened for me. And through that, definitely, I understood like where I'm standing in the whole spectrum, where I'm standing. So um, it didn't happen overnight, and I would say my work is still in progress for the level of where I would want to see myself. But definitely moving from there, because at the point where before separation or divorce, I'm always right. My viewpoint is always right. That's the angle of approach I was approaching. Although there would be few consideration of what the other person is saying, but still for somewhere or the other, I will make ensure that I am right, right? And I think it's a basic human tendency as well, but I was literally on that path. And thinking now, I feel like I wish I am more, I would have been more self-aware, like from where I'm operating from. Probably many things, I don't know whether I could have saved the marriage, but not to that extent of conflicts. Probably I could have avoided for my sanity and for everyone's sanity. But yeah, that's the example I could say. So it all started with the life coaching workshop that I went through, and then slowly I learned about NLP, and then I did my masters. And then meeting different people from there on, understanding what their journey has been through, and through their lived experience, and reading books, and it's as I said, it's a slow process. But having said that, over the period of 5-6 years now, I could see, and the challenges what other women are facing as well. So self-awareness is, I don't know whether it's natural for everyone, but definitely wasn't for me.
I don't think it's natural for everyone. Even if you look at my life and how I have been through the marriage and in my you know experiences so far, definitely wasn't there. Like always, yes, we are the ones who are always right. That mindset was there, and also not willing to see the other perspective. And it was all about who is winning. So it was more like that rather than trying to play as a team. Like you have to play together as a team, and that wasn't there in my marriage at all. And I also had to develop the self awareness a lot and work through it to um, to make it work. Otherwise, it was a lot of hard work and effort. And I think that's possible only if both the parties are willing to do that. If both parties are not willing to do that, yes, it's not. Yeah, it is not going to be effective. So you improved on your self awareness by investing more in your personal development and life coaching and all of that. But then, would there be some aspects of NLP and other areas which you have learned which will be feeding into the second blow movement?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because the one of the best thing is, with the NLP, it's not something, it's, I don't see it as a theory part. It's part and parcel of our life, but it is very defined clearly to people. So then you're understanding, and then you're just incorporating, and then you work on, and then you see where the gap is, and then you work on. So yes, it would be there. This is a movement. It's like a Me Too movement, Meena.
Mm.
where people who are affected, they gather there.
Mm.
What they do is just a gathering. But again, if they want to have a counseling, like in the Me Too movement itself, like where they are really affected with that, then probably they have their own wing of counseling or legal advising and things like that. When Second Blue movement, you gather here, and if you are wanting to work on your emotional aspects and develop yourself, then we have this Manasvi healing as a vehicle for you to provide those things. So it, yeah, definitely, and Manasvi healing does incorporate all of those and
Mm.
much more. And so they work on both mind and body level,
Mm.
and that's where they can feel aligned, and then thereby they are like able to see, okay, what, how can I see myself? Because if having a dream like, I want to be that person, or even asking like, what can I do now, both requires some clarity around to work on, right?
Mm.
So
Mm.
who am I now definitely needs some work to be done for you to understand who you are at your soul level, or as a person. And then to say, okay, I want to be that person, then you definitely need to have some tools and strategies to work through that. But having said that, both requires emotional healing, because otherwise it's just a question, it's just a wish or a dream. You will
Mm.
not be able to move past that, because you're holding on these triggers will not allow you to navigate through the space that you would want to create for yourself.
Mm.
And it's through my experience as well. The Before I got into this life coaching and all that, that interim period, that was a suffering where I'm saying like I had to literally curl up and sleep, and going through all these emotions. I have spent like nearly about 10 months period of time in that.
Mm.
So that's why I say I'm a blessed one, because I got that immediately to for me to learn this,
Yeah.
and also to be able to teach to others as well. So this is the only way that I see person can move forward, because I had lot of emotional baggage, not just within the marriage, but even as a child, what I was carrying, which affected the marriage life, and it didn't allow me to go past as well. So I had to heal all of those aspects.
Mm. All those layers from the past.
Yes, yes, yes.
So, how would one know, like, for a divorced woman? Let's talk about specifically for a, woman who are to whom the second blue movement is related to. When would they know they have healed?
When there is a trigger, I wouldn't say there shouldn't be any triggers at all. If there any triggers which is not in a frequent level, but if they are triggered for any reason with the past, and they are aware that, okay, I'm triggered now, and then they are instantly able to release their emotion then and there, that is the
Mm.
healing aspect. Like, you're not quoting anything in the past on a negative intention, but you are able to just say it as an incident or an event, and then move on from there. That is the best indication, because to arrive at that point, Mina, I tell you, it's a lot of work involved. It is a lot of work involved.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, not easy because I think the universe sends us a lot of triggers to come through the process and to get out of it with, with where we are able to respond and not being very reactive there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely agreed. I think what you said there is suitable for anyone, not only for women who are separated or divorced, but for anyone. Yeah, I think that is the clear indication of how to know when you are healed or you are healing, like, yeah, you are the journey. Yeah.
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 And if I have to add one more to that, the moment you start enjoying your daily life, that is another indication that you are healing actually.
Mm.
Because when you think about your future self, like, I want to be so and so person, it is all very enterprising. right? It is
Yeah.
like very appealing, like, one day I'll be this person. That is very enterprising. But once you start enjoying your daily life journey and you're able to accept what comes in the way, like you're handling it with grace, that is the clear indication that you're actually healing and you're doing the best work for yourself. Because daily life, we are like, okay, we talk it in a complaint mode, like, I'm going for work, cooking, cleaning, and blah blah. But when you say that, yeah, this, although yes, it can be very monotonous, it's very routine, it's very mundane, but then you are like, yeah, I like my life, it's very simple and peaceful. Like, I can see what's happening in my life. I feel very grounded. Like, it's all good. Like, I see everything as a blessing. Whether you have plants at home or you have your pet at home, with your kids doing their, studies and whatnot, and you having that regular life is itself as a blessing. And we discount it many, many times. We are like, yeah, I'm living my life and I want to be that person. But when you start understanding that level, I feel sincerely you're a healing or healed person.
Beautifully said, Indu. I don't think there are better words than this. I think at that state of mind, then you feel grateful for life, isn't it? So much
Yes.
gratitude. Yeah, yeah. So, but why only women?
Very good question, Meena. Very good question. I wouldn't say women are emotional people by birth or anything like that, because emotions are equal for both men and women. But the thing is, we women struggle to channelize that and release it. I don't know how men handle it. To be honest, I haven't explored in that aspect or asked or inquired how it is. I haven't like really done any case study. But what I see through my experience, also what I saw in my mom, also what I see in my sister, this is in the family, and not necessarily they all have issues in the marriage. Like, I'm just generally talking about the emotional construct, how we are handling it and
Dealing with.
how we are holding that. Okay. And the my clients, my friend circle, we are not able to channelize that.
Mhm.
And so when an event like this happens, like, not necessarily it has to be a divorce. Like, say for instance, if there is while you're driving the car and someone, like, just made a difficult turn or something, you're, first of all, you're agitated, and then that stays in your body for quite some time. Men don't carry it forward. They are like, at the moment, they might probably say an F word and then they move on. But for us, it becomes very difficult to release that.
Mm.
And so when an event like this, it's a calamity in your life, and it is very hard for you to hold all those things, and not knowing to how to release that. It takes a long while. It's not that they don't know to release it. It takes a long while because we haven't been taught or understood the art of how to release it, the emotions. That's why it's for women. Yeah.
Amazing. So I know, when a family goes through separation and divorce, it's not only the women, but also the children get impacted. So, does the second blue movement extend help for them, or is it more about the women?
Good question again. So yeah, as I think I specifically did mention about women with children. The reason I say that is because we talk about intergenerational trauma.
Mm.
This is one of the things that we can avoid or stop doing that, because I wouldn't say it's from the women. It is primarily the whoever the caregiver, the primary caregiver. When the child is with them and that caregiver is not able to regulate their emotions, and they're not, like, leading it from an elevated consciousness, children model everything. Okay, children model everything, so they pick it up from whatever they are seeing in their environment. and it is a silently we are passing the trauma to the next generation, to our own kids. It's not that we deliberately do it because we haven't learned how to process it. It gets transformed, and that is a natural process. That's what happens in a closed environment. And so the child will not know that they have absorbed it. It will only show up in the life as their life progress. So it's like, okay, now we are focusing on that rather than focusing on the main root cause. It is not like only the when we say child, it is regardless of the age group, Meena. um,
Mm.
like even if you're having an adult child 18 plus, they still get this uh,
Impacted.
impacted. Yes, this chain continues. So which is why it is important, regardless of what age it is. One has to heal in this lifetime. It's not that, okay, I'm so and so age, like I'm 40 plus, I'm 50 plus, I'm 60 plus, now what, I have led my most of my life. No, healing is not an option, it's a must. It is for you, and it is for the next generation. And if I have to say this, when I was going through the emotional challenges and all of that, my son was going through his piece of emotional thing as well, but I was not able to focus and concentrate on him because I was trying to find my foot, you know,
Your
how,
feet to
yeah,
on the
to
land, yeah.
hold on to understand what is happening. So he was going through his own cycle of all this emotional ups and downs. And when I got this opportunity to learn and heal myself, because when you are when there is burning fire, and when you pour water, it just absorbs readily, like, that's how I was. Like, as soon as I got into this, I was like, okay, let me apply it to myself. So I was really working on it, and the more he saw me doing it, and it was during COVID actually, so it was a lockdown period where we can't go out anywhere or anything. And he decided, because, and then one point I asked him, like, what's happening with you, are you ready to open up with me or not? But I think he felt a bit more, for two reasons. Because he was like, okay, I'm healing now, he doesn't want to overload me with whatever going through. And also I think he wanted to take his ownership as well. And so he then had this teleconference with the counseling thing, and then he worked on himself. And he told one of my friend, I saw mom working on herself, and then I decided to work on myself. And that is a very strong evidence, Meena. Like, when you work on yourself, and it is not just through my example, my personal experience, but I think they have mentioned it scientifically as well, how it is passed on from one person to the other. And because mostly women as mom, we are the caregivers, it passes on from us, and naturally we don't know how to process it. So it becomes a must that we work on the healing aspects.
Mm.
um yeah, regardless of what it is. Yeah.
Definitely. And I can't agree more. I have met your son, and how he has turned out is a beautiful example of, why women should do the inner work and do the healing, so they become healed, and not just them, but also the next generation and the generations after. That cycle is broken, and they are, like they can bloom, like, yeah. So that's the best thing a mother can do for a child, to
Yes.
give them the environment in which they can bloom. Yeah.
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 So, answering to your question, do we do anything for the children? Not specifically. We work on the women, but if needed, if the child would want to talk, then yes, we are open for that. Because, on a different aspect, I work with the children, but in a different aspect to it. But yes, we can. And if they are like 18 plus, there's no harm for us to take them through the journey of healing as well. But yeah, definitely, but the whole idea of second blue movement is not only you heal the next generation as well by working on yourself. That's the whole motto of the second bloom movement.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, what is the second bloom movement structure like? So, let's say someone wants to join the movement. What should they do?
Um, well, I haven't actually got a very clear logistics with this, but having said that, if anyone knows, they can contact me through any social handles like Facebook or Instagram, and they can just say I'm willing to join the movement. And once I know, your willingness, and then I just give you the access to the Facebook group where we have other people as well, and that community you can introduce yourself, and if you have any questions you can ask, and without any judgment, people will be willing to respond to your question, or you can just make friends if you feel safe. Again, everybody are women in that movement. There is so I think that's one aspect, and we are planning to do a weekly live session. So then any questions that you would want to ask, you can send it as a private thing, and that would be answered in the live calls. So, if you're not willing to put yourself out there, you can just send a private message to me, and then we can then go through that question in the open call as well. Or if they want to continue, in a deeper level, they can join the Manasvi healing program, and then work through with me as a one-on-one, and get that healed as well. So basically this is for women, where they feel like, okay, we are not isolated, we have got our group. It's always that being resourceful is very important. So I think human resource is one of those things that at times we lack, especially after such a major event that happens in our life, and you can build it from there.
Amazing. So, and is this a free movement to join?
Movement is free to join, but if you want to come into the open call Q&A, then there is a little membership fee per month, where then you can access the calls and come and join and talk about all that. But yeah, movement is free. Like, there's no charge for that.
Okay. And let's say someone has joined the movement and then they realize they are becoming more self aware and they are realizing, okay, I need to heal these blocks in me. Like, let's say I have a financial block, I have a emotional block, and I'm having a lot of rage, anger, like that. They, let's say, they identify their emotions. So, and if they are interested in getting the healing from Manasvi healing, then is there a transition from second bloom to Manasvi, or how would that happen?
As I said, Manasvi healing is a program. Movement is
Mm.
a space where you are just there, like, anyone can join, as long as you're separated or divorced and you want to work on your healing aspects. But this is when Manasvi healing is like a vehicle, Meena. It's like
Sure.
that takes you to a place from point A to point B. So that process will take you. So you want to overcome your rage, anger, fear, whatever. Yes, we will work on this through this Manasvi, because we have a unique framework which is trademarked as well, and through which we can go step by step process onto how to be more self-aware, how to release these emotions, and then how to build from there to the person that you would want to become. So yeah, so there is no transition as such. All you have to be is really willing and do the work for yourself,
Mm, mm.
and for your child as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, so when we are talking about intergenerations and with the divorce rate, I think it is close to 50% in general across the world, without putting it specifically for a country. So, how do you envision the marriage process to be for the future generations? How do you think marriages should be um, embodied by anyone?
Well, I think of marriage not for myself to, have a remarriage or anything, but it's definitely for these generations. My son is 25, and how is his future is going to pace out. And when I think about that, I think they are more, especially this generation. Like I'm just only seeing as I'm an observer. Like I haven't like seen anyone in a close contact, but what I see is there's a friendship there. There is a mutual respect given, and they understand each other's values, priorities, boundaries. They talk about all these things, before marriage, and so they are now really aware of what the other person is. And you know uh, I what I see, Meena, it's very beautiful. They are accepting the other person with the flaws, because everybody will have their own flaws. No single human is perfect.
Correct.
But when I compare my wavelength to at that period and what they I see now, there's a lot of clarity around how a relationship has to be for them. And because there is no dependency, they don't fear like I need to expect everything from this person. And of course, yes, there is an emotional expectations, like when and the space that required, as I said, it's very mutual. And they understand like, okay, if I'm hurt, the other person is hurt as well. When I am expecting, the other person is expecting as well. How do I respect the other person's expectation, and how do I tell me my limitations on this? So they are working on that, and I think it's beautiful. And they are not from the space of, say for instance, if anything doesn't work out, I'm sure they are willing to go for counseling to make the work happen. In my case, it was not the thing, as a comparative, if I have to say that. Those days, when you say about go for a counseling, go for a psychological counseling, what's wrong with me? There's a defensive thing there already, and that is not here. Like I can see they are willing to go for couple counseling and work through the relationship, whether it's a relationship, or they are married, or doesn't matter. As a couple, they're ready to work to that. And even if still doesn't work, then I think they are in a much mature state to talk it out and make a decision, rather than having a very unforeseen in the house environment. Yeah, I don't know whether I answered the question correctly, but that's how I see.
No,
uh,
I think that's how I see it as well, because I have a son in a similar age and I can see the maturity and the awareness and how much they have, they are modeling us. I can see that. And not only us, but they are seeing around the world, and they are sometimes even my awakening has started with my son. I always say my son is my first guru because of the questions he has asked. I think the next generation, I have a lot of hope on the next generation, that they have a lot more clarity and wisdom. And when they are ready to do the inner work for themselves, and and also modeled by the parents and the society around them, I think they will handle it very well. Yeah. 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 The vision that you have for Second Bloom movement and how it is going to support women who are divorced or separated and their children, i'm I really wish it is going to be worldwide, like Me Too or any other movement that has been there for betterment of humanity. And that's what I'm really hoping. And I know you also have a gesture for it. Can you show us what it is, and why did you choose that? What does it mean?
Sure, Meena. So this is the gesture basically. So your hands on your heart, your right hand on your heart, and then you have this fist closed. The true meaning of it is, I feel the heaviness in my heart.
Ah.
I have this heaviness in my heart where I am, but now I am prepared to heal that. So A divorced woman may not be able to verbally say that, but this gesture would indicate any one of us who are in the movement that they are part of this movement, and all they are looking for, they are aware that this needs to be happened, and they are ready to start their healing journey. And the reason I wanted to do this is, like for peace we have this, and then for I think it's the same for victory as well, and then we have this little thing,
Love you.
yeah, I love you, and all of that. And I'm like, why don't we have anything for a woman to say, like, I am ready to start this journey of healing, but I'm starting from here. And so I wanted to have a special gesture for those women who come in the movement, and that's the hand gesture for these women. Yeah.
Nice. So beautiful. So beautiful. I, yeah, how to release. Yeah, amazing. So, what would you like to say to the women who are listening to this, who are divorced or separated, who want to join your second bloom movement? What do you want to say to them?
For those women out there who are embarking the journey after your divorce or separation, regardless of what the situation is, um, age is not a limit. Regardless of what age you have made the decision or wherever you are at, as I mentioned already, healing is for your personal, um, it's a must. It's what am I going to do after healing? You will not know. You might be surprised, but healing is not by choice. You got to make that every single, whatever the options it's available next to you, avail that and work on your healing aspect. Because, and the reason I emphasize this quite a lot these days is because, mm, not many would be interested to know this angle of it. But what for me personally is, Meena, it is like, when you write something in a paper and you finish, and then when you come the day after, you will start from where you have left,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
This is how your life is. Wherever your life is going to in this journey, wherever you're working on yourself, where you finish your soul finishes here, in the next life you will start from there. Elevate yourself as much as you can in this lifetime.
Mm.
Elevate yourself as much as you can in this lifetime. So whether you're having a rebirth or we don't know what it is, but this one life, elevate as much as you can. And if healing is the first process, work on that healing process, because one may not be able to achieve heights if you have these emotions that's pulling you down. It is a weight that you don't have to carry for any time at all. So work on that. The moment you work on yourself, you can see how you're blooming, and which is why I have the second bloom movement. The name comes from it. Is beautiful. As I said, you will enjoy every bit of your life, whether it's regular work day or that is something you're going to travel. You will have nothing heavy that is in the chest, where it's like pressing you down. You will have that liberty to move around, and whatever you're thinking today, like, okay, I want to be that person, that may not be the vision. You will think even more better for yourself, because now we are thinking from a confined space. Once you're feeling you're liberated, you're healed, your vision for yourself is much much higher, and that is achievable. And I would say elevate yourself as much as you can.
Wow. Even I want to join the second bloom movement in the. Ah, amazing. It is wonderful to talk to you and to learn more about second bloom movement and what you are passionate about and what you are going to help them achieve to live a elevated life. I think that's what anyone should wish for, because human birth is not easy. It doesn't come easy. and it's a miracle. I would honestly say it's a miracle to have a healthy human body, a mind, sane mind, and a beautiful soul. Then it is important to elevate yourself. Well said, Indu. Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure talking to you as always. Thank you.
Thanks, Meena. Thanks for this conversation. Thank you.